everyone. Welcome to the 63rd episode in our AI and You podcast series. Today's Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, and I'm your host, Vicar Saidi. I'm a computer scientist and engineer, a lecturer and a consultant. I'm also the author of several books. My most recent book is about artificial intelligence and is titled The Genome Affair. The Genome Affair is a speculative work. It examines what the world might be like if some of the more extraordinary capabilities forecast to be realized in AI over the next 20 to 30 years were actually realized today. Given the growing list of frightening existential threats humankind now faces, the book pays particular attention to the impact AI is expected to have on world affairs. The book is available in ebook format for those who prefer to read on a digital device, but it's also available in a high-quality paperback edition. The Genome Affair is available on Amazon, so I hope you'll take the time to read it and to leave a review. Amazon book reviews are very helpful for writers. I'm very interested in how science and technology influence world affairs and the big questions facing humankind, studying at the confluence of the great disciplines of human history, political science and thought, international affairs, science and technology, offers a deep understanding and pedagogically important lessons of how advances in human endeavor have influenced and impacted civilization. I'm available to give talks on artificial intelligence and its related technologies and on the impact AI is expected to have or is already having on our world. If you'd like to get in touch with me to arrange a web-based event or consulting meeting with your company or organization, you can find my contact info in the podcast notes below. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with others if you find the content valuable. Thank you. And now, on to today's podcast. In our last podcast, episode 62, I spoke about artificial intelligence and the battlefield. I discussed the use of AI in the recent conflict between the Israelis and Palestinians in Gaza. In today's podcast, episode 63, I'll talk about artificial intelligence and its potential to effectively mitigate xenophobia in society. Let's get started. Evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology are powerful forces. To a large extent, they determine the behavior of all species in the animal kingdom. Over millions of years, these forces have shaped our behavior, thus enabling us to have the best chance to survive as individuals and as a species. One attribute that has been hardwired into our psychology through these evolutionary processes is xenophobia. Generally speaking, xenophobia is a fear of the unfamiliar. This could be a fear of unfamiliar people, places, or other creatures, and is rooted in our mammalian brain, our limbic system, which is home to our emotions and impulses. It causes us to distance and protect ourselves from the unfamiliar and is a critical built-in defense and survival mechanism. At a cognitive level, we know that we are limited by our prefrontal cortex in the number of meaningful, sustainable relationships that we can have with other humans. This limit to these types of relationships is approximately 150 and has been confirmed by studying the archaeological evidence of ancient nomadic hunter-gatherer societies, as well as by observing nomadic communities still present in the world today. We can also observe this phenomenon in numerous commercial enterprises, military units, and other organizations that operate well when they remain under the limit, but rapidly devolve into chaos once the limit is breached. Robin Dunbar, the evolutionary psychologist and anthropologist at Magdalen College, Oxford University, has mapped out the human social network as a series of 6 concentric circles in a model known as the Rule of 150. In the innermost circle of Dunbar's model, humans maintain intimate, meaningful, sustainable relationships with about 5 people. These are most likely the people with whom we share a nuclear family unit. The next level of meaningful relationships, the next outer circle, represents our closest friends and is usually composed of about 15 people. The third concentric circle in the model is composed of about 50 friends, and the fourth concentric circle represents about 150 acquaintances. This is the outer limit or extent of our social network in terms of the number of meaningful, sustainable relationships we are cognitively capable of managing. Beyond this cognitive limitation is the genesis and domain of xenophobia. In the fifth concentric circle, we have about 500 people whom we may know, but who don't know us. This grouping might include actors, athletes, musicians, and various celebrities, politicians, and religious figures. We know a good deal about these people, but they don't know anything about us. In the sixth and final concentric circle of our social network, there are about 1,500 people whom we recognize but don't know, and they also don't know us. We might see these people walking on the footpath as we drive to work every day, or occasionally on the train, on our way to or from work, or in the grocery store while shopping. Thus, Dunbar's model represents the extent of the human social network and, as mentioned, is limited by the cognitive ability of the human prefrontal cortex. With regards to xenophobia, we often discuss it within the context of a socio-political framework. But the reality, as we see from the above dissertation, is that xenophobia has its roots in evolutionary biology, specifically with regards to the development and size of the brain and the subsequent limitation of our cognitive capacity. Xenophobia also has its roots in our evolutionary psychology, the emotions and impulses in our limbic system or mammalian brain that are activated when we breach the fourth circle in Dunbar's model. Interestingly though, unlike any other species, the behavior of Homo sapiens can be further enhanced or shaped by culture. For example, we can readily find individuals from different societies who behave in dramatically different ways in their nationalist attitudes, dietary practices, religious beliefs, and rituals. Now, given that our behavior can be altered through learning cultural practices, particularly when adopted at an early age, before our cognitive and rational abilities have matured, we are presented with a fascinating question. If during our formative years, or even post-adolescence, we are equipped with artificial intelligence on our smartphone or smartwatch, or if we have a neural implant with which we can communicate with the internet and dedicated AI agent at high speed, might it then be possible that if we have learned to trust this AI, we could mitigate our xenophobia to a modest or even significant degree? Could we potentially expand Dunbar's model by several orders of magnitude by essentially transferring some of the authority of our limbic system, our fight or flight impulse, to our AI agent, thus trusting it to advise us as to whether someone near us or approaching us is safe or not? With the passage of time, as further and more advanced research and development into artificial intelligence becomes available, and AI matures from its current narrow or strictly specialized capacity into artificial general intelligence, we may find ourselves in a world in which we have the tools to successfully overcome our hardwired xenophobic tendencies, as characterized in Dunbar's Rule of 150, at least to some degree. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'm trying to follow the TED Talk format, and so I'm keeping these podcasts under 20 minutes. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll find these insights into artificial intelligence helpful, and I hope you will read my new book, The Xenophobia. It's on Amazon. Until next time, then, this has been the AI and You podcast with author Fikar Saidi.